Namaskar. In today's session, we are going to discuss development communication in reporting humanitarian crisis and international aid efforts. In the times of conflict, disaster and displacement, the way humanitarian crises are reported plays a critical role in shaping global understanding and driving aid responses. Development communication offers a strategic framework that goes beyond traditional reporting, focusing on participation, empowerment, and informed action. Today's presentation explores how integrating development communication into crisis reporting amplifies the voices of affected communities, promotes accurate, ethical, and impactful storytelling, mobilizes timely international aid and long-term support, bridges gaps between media, aid agencies, and local populations. By examining real world cases and communication strategies, we highlight how development oriented reporting can contribute to more coordinated and compassionate humanitarian responses. Humanitarian crises, sudden or complex events like natural disasters, armed conflict, epidemics that cause large scale suffering, displacement, loss of life, a breakdown of essential services. India frequently faces such crises, floods, earthquake, while also covering global events like conflicts and refugee emergencies, as we already observed in Gaza and Ukraine. Understanding the scope and nature of humanitarian crisis. Natural disasters like floods in North and Northeast India, like Assam, Bihar, Gujarat. Health emergencies, lingering impacts of COVID-19, threat of new variants. Socioeconomic fallout, loss of livelihood, poverty, especially in informal sectors. Systematic and underlying issues like climate change, geopolitical instability, socioeconomic disparity, and interconnectedness of crisis. Yes, we must understand the interconnectedness of the crisis, how to cover one crisis with the interconnected issues or sub-themes of that particular issue. One crisis often compounds another, like floods, worsening COVID related vulnerabilities. Journalists should trace and explain how overlapping issues intensify suffering. Core element of humanitarian reporting, multifaceted coverage. This is the first and foremost principle for humanitarian ground reporting. Go beyond surface level reporting of event. Include immediate effect, displacement, damage, and casualties. Long term vulnerabilities like poverty, public health, climate change, institutional response, and policy implications. Human centric storytelling, prioritize voices of those directly affected. You can interview with the victims and all the stakeholders, the government machinery, NGOs, social workers, and fire brigade officials in case of fire accidents and or some other calamity. So, interview with displaced individuals or other stakeholders, personal account of loss and survival, narrative of frontline responders, rescue teams, doctors, aid workers, evoke empathy and humanize data. Contextualization, embedded events in broader frameworks, climate change driving extreme weather, economic inequality, exacerbating disaster impact, public health systems strained by both natural and health crises, avoid reporting events in isolation. So, you have to think, you have to link or gel with the issues related to crisis. You have to search global data, national priorities, local challenges, and you have to examine all these things and you have to club everything in your reporting to showcase your crisis under this humanitarian ground. Technical and ethical reporting practices. Accuracy and verification is the utmost important. cross-check facts like official displacement and casualty numbers, attribute information to credible sources like government agencies, NGOs, UN bodies. You have to be accurate and verified in your facts and all the information you are going to broadcast or publish. Empathy in reporting. Respect dignity and privacy of victims. Avoid sensationalism. Use visuals responsibly. Like avoid graphic images unless essential for context. Balance in narrative is another important point. Report both on challenges and positives. Challenges like damage, lack of aid, vulnerability, and positives like community resilience, ongoing relief, and coordinated action. Use of visuals and on the ground coverage. Flood visuals, submerged villages, damaged infrastructure. Human impact, you have to check the human impact like footage of temporary shelters, food distribution, field hospitals, and this help ground abstract data in tangible imagery. And this will help your audience, help other stakeholders to get the feel of the crisis, feel of the issue, and your audience and stakeholders and the government machinery will connect it very well with your visuals and story. Reporting on the response efforts, relief and humanitarian aid. And what are the highlights? Government interventions, evacuations, rescue operations, NGOs and UN contributions like UNICEF, WHO, Red Cross. These are the societies or UN officials or offices. They are working day and night. WHO have many guidelines and action points you have to be incorporated, and local community initiatives and volunteer efforts must be highlighted in your relief and humanitarian aid under your reporting segments. Needs assessment and gaps. Explain how joint needs assessments are conducted. Report unmet needs clearly. Water, food, shelter, healthcare. Funding and resource appeals. Report on funding shortfalls. Cover appeals made by aid agencies and government for global assistance. Use interviews with officials to personalize the urgency. Framing the crisis for viewers. Educating the audience. You have to educate, inform the audience with the context and explain systems. Because when you are providing the context, why floods are worsening, how pandemic impact poor community, right? What are the other parameters or other subjects are being connected with the issue, and explain systems, how disaster relief is coordinated, how healthcare is delivered under stress. Solution focused journalism. You have to give solution focused reporting and media writing. Report not just problem but solutions. What are the government arrangement? What are the various international or national non-government organizations are providing? They are volunteering the issues. They are providing some relief. What kind of relief? Shelter, home, food, water, sanitation. What kind of arrangement they are providing? You must highlight about the community resilience and innovation, climate adaptation efforts, and policy level responses and reform underway. What are the reforms are being made? What are the policy level interventions? You have to be clear in your reporting, so maximum audience in your local, in your region specific, with your local dialects or local language must be benefited with your information, and they must connect with the policy plan, with the arrangement made during the crisis conditions. Promoting accountability. Ask critical questions. Is aid reaching those in need? Or aid has some technical delay? Or aid is somewhere else are going and not reaching to the ground, to the needy? Are long-term measures being taken to reduce the future risk? Who is responsible for failures in preparedness or response? So, responsible person, that kind of a stakeholder must be covered in your reporting to highlight the failures for future preparations. And what are the reporting essentials? Timeline and accuracy. In the humanitarian crisis, timeline and accuracy is the utmost. Rapid, verified updates, and for what? To save lives, to save humanity. You have to verify update for saving the life. Context and empathy. Convey human stories respectfully. Avoid sensationalism. You have to respect, you have to take confidence, and you have no need to tell the name or the about the family. There is no need at all. You just take the story, take the problem, and hide the face. No need to tell the names. You can change the name, and you can plan your story. On ground presence, local language, and community voices provide depth. Ethical storytelling. Consent is critical. Avoid uh, retraumatizing visuals or intrusive questioning. Collaboration. Engage local NGOs, government, civilian, volunteers for credible information. For every and each crisis in the humanitarian issues, lot of collaborators, UN bodies, WHO volunteers, NGOs like Oxfam and others, they are involved, including government machineries, ministries, department, civilian volunteers, and army personnel, police. You have to check the credible information with all the collaborators to enrich your information and, for maximum updates for your audience. And what are the key takeaways for media platform or journalism practices? Aspect and best practices. What are the aspect? Narrative focus, reporting angle, tone, visuals, verification, ethics, and perspective. Like narrative focus. So combine hard fact with human interest stories, right? What are the problem, health issues, and how their families are being suffered. Reporting angle cover both immediate crisis and long-term context. Tone must be empathetic, respectful, yet critical where needed, and visuals. Use powerful but sensitive imagery to enhance storytelling. And be careful. Know those visuals which may create some problem and some bad vision. So please avoid these kind of visuals. Verification is required. Confirm data through official and multiple sources. And what are the ethics to be followed? Protect the dignity and privacy of the affected individuals, and perspective. Offer hope through stories of resilience and solidarity. International aid efforts during humanitarian crisis. And international aid efforts during the crisis refer to the material, logistics, financial and technical assistance provided by international actors like government, international organizations like UN, WHO, and other sub offices of the UN, and non-governmental organizations to alleviate suffering, save lives, and maintain human dignity in response to emergencies. International aid effort during humanitarian crisis. The crisis can be triggered by natural disasters, armed conflicts, epidemics, famines, or other events that severely disrupt the basic living conditions of a population. Key characteristics of international and during humanitarian crisis. Key characteristics of international aid during humanitarian crisis. Immediacy and short-term focus. Immediate life-threatening needs are required, and impartiality is the utmost, point to be followed. Aid is provided based on the need alone, without discrimination based on the nationality, race, gender, religious belief, class, or political opinion. And what are the other key characteristics? neutrality. Aid agencies do not take sides in hostilities or engage in controversies of a political, racial, religious, or ideological nature. Independence is another point. Humanitarian action is autonomous form from the political, economic, military, or other objective of any actor. And now we can discuss about the role of agencies providing international aid efforts. And first, we will discuss about the intergovernmental organizations. And first is United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA. This is the central coordinating body. OCHA mobilizes and coordinates the collective efforts of the international community, particularly the UN system, to meet humanitarian needs. They also advocate for crisis affected communities and develop humanitarian policy. And World Food Program, WFP, is another agency, the leading humanitarian organization delivering food assistance in emergencies and working with communities to improve nutrition and build resilience. UNICEF, United Nations Children Fund, focuses on the rights and well-being of children, providing emergency relief, healthcare, nutrition, education, and child protection services. UNHCR is another agency, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, protects refugees and forcibly displaced communities, providing shelter, aid, and advocating for their rights. UNDP, United Nations Development Programme. While primarily focused on development, UNDP plays a crucial role in early recovery and rehabilitation efforts after a crisis, helping communities rebuild and strengthening their resilience. WHO is another leading agency. Work on these crises, leads the global health response to emergencies, providing technical guidance, medical supplies, and coordinating health interventions. WHO announced, our various parameters to be followed by various disease, various pandemic. So we have to carefully visit the website of WHO to know and to inform ourselves about the latest health updates across the globe. If our country is being affected by any pandemic or any this kind of crisis, health crisis, so we must visit WHO website, and after that we have to discuss with doctors or other experts. So International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement is another big platform for the humanitarian crisis. International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, mandated to protect the lives and dignity of victims of war and other situations of violence. They promote international humanitarian law and provide humanitarian assistance in conflict zones. International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, coordinates and directs international assistance in natural disasters and public health emergencies. National Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, Indian Red Cross Society, which is very well known in India, act as first responders at the national and local levels, working in coordination with government system. International NGOs, we must know about at least the names, and you can visit internet to know the detail of the work they are doing. Doctors Without Borders, this is Medicines Sans Frontiers, MSF, or it is known as Doctors Without Borders. Oxfam is another leading international NGO working in the health crisis situations. Save the Children, Care International, Mercy Corps, World Vision International, Action Against Hunger, and Norwegian Refugee Council, NRC, International Rescue Committee, IRC. These are some of the best known international non-government organizations, and they are well known for humanitarian crisis situation. Case study of humanitarian crisis where international aid was provided. First case we are discussing that the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. On December 26, 2004, a massive undersea earthquake off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, triggered a series of devastating tsunamis across the Indian Ocean. India's coastal region, particularly Tamil Nadu, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Andhra Pradesh, and Kerala, were severely hit. The disaster resulted in immense loss of life, widespread destruction of homes, infrastructure loss, and livelihoods, especially in fishing communities. Over 10,000 people died in India alone, and millions were displaced or affected. And impact of tsunami was impact and needs. The immediate need were overwhelming. Search and rescue, medicine, attention for the injured, provision of food, clean drinking water, temporary shelter, and sanitation facilities. Long-term needs included rehabilitation of displaced population, rebuilding homes, restoring livelihood, and psychological support and reconstruction of infrastructure. So, international aid efforts to understand the international aid effort, we must understand the immediate response. Many countries and international organizations swiftly pledged and delivered aid. The United Nations system, including OCHA, UNICEF, WFP, and WHO, played a crucial role in coordinating the international response and delivering essential supplies. Financial assistance is also important in the crisis situation. Government worldwide, including the US, UK, Japan, Germany, and the European Union, committed significant financial aid, and the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank (ADB) provided substantial loans and grants for reconstructions and rehabilitation efforts. Medical teams are playing important role, and this organizations like Medicine Sans Frontiers (MSF) deployed medical teams to provide emergency healthcare and psychological support. Search and rescue, specialized search and rescue teams from various countries arrived to assist in recovering bodies and locating survivors. Relief supplies. Aid agencies like Oxfam, Save the Children, CARE, World Vision distributed emergency relief kits including tents, blanket, water purification tablet, hygiene kits, and cooking utensils. And technical assistance is also important. Experts from organizations like UNICEF worked for restoring water and sanitation systems to prevent disease outbreaks. So, this is all about the humanitarian crisis and international aid reporting scenario under the development condition. For next issue, we'll meet again. Thank you. Till then.